Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so John, are you ready?
Yes.
Thorn, are you ready?
I am ready.
Rho, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, well then let's kick it off with something that goes like, Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 294. My name is Ben Baumhofer. Will it be King Ben Baumhofer? I don't know. We're going to find out by the end of this episode. That's right. We went to BlizzCon. We came. We saw. We kicked its butt. That's right. I didn't swear. And with me, as always, is the current reigning champion, John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben! It's Friday night in Azeroth. We're back from BlizzCon, and it's time to crown a champion.
Ooh.
Ladies, gentle Ben, let's get down to
Oh.
business.
Does that mean I have to go like and talk like a bear the whole time?
Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
But let us meet who is competing this year. You already know Ben. He did a fantastic intro. Gentle Ben is going for his second potential reign as king. Also going for his second potential reign as king. Rho, welcome back.
Thank you.
And going for a first-time win, and a first-time win for the Lagging Balls crew as well. Thorn, welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
I like the excitement.
Quite a bit of enthusiasm. I'm pretty happy about that.
It is. You know what? Real quick, just before we begin, let's just go around and say, hey, how was everybody's BlizzCon? I know this is going to be a tricky question because I know the answer to one. One of us wasn't there, and so this is great. Let's start it off in a real good spot. Thorn, how was your BlizzCon?
I gotta tell you, I had a good time.
Yeah?
I had I watched the opening ceremonies with a bunch of people on our Discord.
Pants or no pants?
It was a great crew. It was super fun. We had people call in who couldn't watch them live, but called in anyway, just so they could hear the hype from the group and things which is just awesome. So things like that, and the fact that they added so much more to the virtual ticket this year just means that I had unprecedented access, if you will. So that was nice.
I don't know if you heard because you were describing your wonderful time, but pants or no pants?
No comment.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
We know what that means.
Okay.
That means a bare-ass nude watched BlizzCon. Ro, how was your BlizzCon, man?
Honestly, now that I'm about a week separated from it, I will still hold to my comment at the very end of BlizzCon and say it was the best BlizzCon I've been to, which could surprise people considering on their own experiences of BlizzCon, but for me it's my favorite one.
Well, 80% of people were there for announcements.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Ben, how was your BlizzCon?
BlizzCon itself was fantastic. I really enjoyed BlizzCon.
What a diplomatic answer. Good job, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Hey John, how was BlizzCon?
Oh, hey, thanks. Good. I had a good con. I had a fun time. It was great getting to see people, talk to people. I heard from a lot of people who listened to this show, and that was awesome. And even more awesome, I heard from somebody who said this show was literally the show that got them into podcasting.
Awesome.
That
nice.
is a thing I never thought I'd hear. Not to say that I'm setting the bar too low for us, but I just, somebody who always got into this thing because of other people's stuff, finding out that it was something of ours that did it, was amazing. Granted, they followed it up with, because I knew there had to be something better out there, but forget that, we still got them in. So, really excited about that. That was very cool, and I really liked getting to meet the people I got to meet. It was great. Let's dive into this thing. We're going to change some stuff up this year, because why not? Ooh. I'm the king, and I can do that. So,
oh, hail the king!
I don't... Thank you. Look at this. I got a court and everything. I'm going to sit up on my throne. Yep, the royal kissing. It's
So
begun.
your throne seat is actually Thorn's face, if I'm seeing this correctly.
Clearly.
It could be many things. Thank you, Ben.
The royal cushion.
Now,
Oh
before we
my.
begin, so we're gonna change it up a little bit. I don't know if people listen to this and they go, I don't want to go through all the categories. I just want to know who won and skip. If they do that this year, they might regret it, because I'm gonna tell you our third place winner right now.
Oh boy.
Oh. So basically what you're saying is they can just leave.
No, they're only gonna know the third place. They gotta stick around to find out the
No,
rest.
I'm talking about the person who
Oh
is in
no,
third
because we're gonna have a little conversation as we go through it.
place. Okay.
Third place winner this year. Third overall, but first in many of our hearts. This individual may have taken third place on our show for predictions, but took first place in best costume.
Woo!
Took first place in the most spicy boldness.
Oh.
And damn it, if this year had given us Pandaria and pet battles, he'd have been a damn champion.
Damn champion.
Thorn, congratulations. You've come in
Thank you.
third.
Yay! Good job. Good job.
A bronze medal to you, but
To match my Overwatch rank.
many people say bronze is the most valuable medal.
And
Those would also be people who finished last.
well, he did his best.
He did. So I just thought it would be fun to say, up front, let's not draw it out, Thorn. You had an interesting strategy in this game. You really doubled down on some bold, extreme predictions.
Oh my god.
I don't want to say that I don't want to send you off with nothing, because you performed extremely well in a couple categories, and I think we need to recognize that. You did quite well. Let's take a look at them. So, first of all, I think you won the predictions for the opening ceremony. Now, you didn't
Woo!
nail any of them.
Yeah.
You said there'd be a video tribute to Mike Morheim. There wasn't. People held up a bunch of signs, and it didn't work at all. But that didn't happen. But you did say the reappearance of Chris Metzen, which didn't happen in the opening ceremony. But it did happen during this BlizzCon. So I gave you a little nod for that, because that was pretty good.
Thank you.
You also said we would get a vanilla WoW launch date, which we didn't get. But we sort of got it. They said summer of 2019. It's vague, but they kind of revealed it a little bit. So I think, compared to these other yahoos, second time I've made that comment, you did really well for opening ceremony predictions.
Thank you.
Considering this is your category now, you're owning it. What did you think of the opening ceremony?
I love the opening ceremony. I gotta say, the opening ceremony is like the peak hypeness of BlizzCon. I think probably not only for me, probably for a lot of people, because not only is it kicking off the event itself, but it's also, where they really concentrate the major announcements. So obviously there's like hype built into that. But it's funny that, having done this before BlizzCon and having written them all down carefully for myself, and being here watching the virtual ticket and having them on the screen just so I could have them on the side here just in case, because I was tracking for myself as well.
Right.
I would see things like the announcement of the Vanilla WoW launch season, and then facepalm extremely hard. It said summer, and I was like, damn it!
Well, you know what? I will say you did way more research into this post BlizzCon episode than I did. I actually went to BlizzCon and didn't remember anything I said.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all a surprise to me.
That's exactly. Honestly, listening to the episode, we'll say at a responsible time, and certainly not just hours before we recorded. I was surprised by a lot of these predictions. Thorn, I would say overall won the opening ceremony, but let's take a look at what you guys said. Ben, I would say you got second place for the opening ceremony.
Cool.
You guessed that the Lego Overwatch sets would be revealed, which did happen at BlizzCon. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen in the opening ceremony, but it happened. It was a thing that was there. You also decided to just... You decided that fiery hot Cheetos weren't enough. You needed the XXX fiery hot Cheetos when you made the bold, spicy prediction of Warcraft the Movie 2. Which...
I was hoping.
I'm shocked it didn't happen, Ben. But you did say that J. Allen Brack would be doing the keynote. And you know what? He kind of did. It was a 50... Ro, be careful what happens when you argue with the king.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I don't know how much I'm allowed to discuss and debate these points on this show.
Well, let's put it this way. You're allowed to discuss and debate as much as you want if you think it will help.
You can do whatever you want, Ro. I might be the king, but this court is open to you. Understand who you're speaking to, though, and understand how your words might be received and the reactions that might follow.
Yeah. You're speaking to the bronze medalist here, bucko.
So, when we talk about the word keynote, are we going by the spirit of the word or the actual definition of
As the
word?
judge, I determined it to be the opening ceremonies outside of whoever was presenting for each individual game.
Okay. if that's your interpretation of keynote, then I agree.
It is, and as the king, it is the correct one.
Sure.
Moving on.
I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Approach the
So-
throne.
I am approaching the throne.
Okay, you've approached
so
the throne.
As Thorn did get points for Metzen being there, however, not in the opening ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, did I get points for the Lego sets being there, just not in the opening ceremonies?
We'll say yes to avoid you arguing with me.
Okay.
You may depart the throne.
I am departing the throne.
Yeah, take a look at the scoreboard and revel in that.
Ro, you had 3 predictions for the opening ceremony. You said we would see, or we would hear about, Netflix Diablo. There would be no clip. Technically, you were very right about no clip, because not only was there no clip, they didn't even talk about it.
That's true.
So yeah, that was a no. But I will give you the same fake point that I gave Ben for the Legos.
Sounds good.
You said that the order of the panels, and I actually like this one because you came so close.
And got
You were
sabotaged.
so close. You said the order of the panels was going to be StarCraft, Heroes, Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and then a new game. Because they weren't going to talk about Diablo, apparently. Although, I would have actually... Had you left it and everything else been right, and that new game slot had been Diablo Immortal, I would have given you credit for it. Unfortunately, there was some sabotage. There was some wonky business.
Technical difficulties.
You didn't get it.
Nope.
But it was close. You said we would get no more than 15 minutes of J. Allen Brack. I timed it. We got more than 15 minutes of J. Allen Brack.
I will challenge you on that.
Well,
because
as the king...
I too timed this.
You two timed it.
The first segment that J. Allen Brack was on was 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Then it cut to a StarCraft clip.
Okay.
He was then on for 3 minutes and 30 seconds before it cut to the Heroes clip. He was then on for 2 minutes before announcing the new director of World of Warcraft.
Okay.
That comes out to a combined total of 12 minutes and 50 seconds.
The additional 2 minutes and 10 seconds came from my annoyance that I had to go through and try and figure out how much J. Allen Brack was on stage. One thing you and Ben specifically will learn as we go through this voting, that if you annoyed me with your prediction, I gave you 0 points for it, whether it was right or wrong at all.
Hey,
So
those
fair.
are the breaks. If those are the rules we're playing by this year, then so be it. You're the king. Your predictions show your rules. So be it, Your Majesty.
I will give you the same hypothetical point as the Legos.
Absolutely.
That comes from a place of, wow, you went through and did your research. Good on ya. I hope you hated yourself as much as I hated you in that moment.
It took me no time at all.
Now,
Well-
did you do it the moment he walked on stage?
Well, see, Rho did it a scientific way. He started all the timing. I looked at when he got on stage, and I looked at the last time I saw him and said, did 15 minutes happen in here? And it did. And I said, there you go.
So, had I not been actually in the main stage of BlizzCon and seen that he walked off stage during the video segments, I totally agree with you that he was on stage for more than 15 minutes. But having been in that hall and saw that when the video segments played, he would walk off stage for them, that's why I decided to do the math.
I agree with you. That's why you got the pretend point.
Sure, cool.
Let's talk about another category that Thorn did pretty well in. I'm sorry to say that's the only category Thorn actually won in my mind. But there was another one that he did pretty well in, which was the Overwatch category.
Woo!
You did pretty good. Sorta.
Good job. Good job.
Sort of good.
Good
Woo!
game.
You
Good game.
kinda... Well, let's just see how you did. You said that exactly 2 new heroes would be announced. And they kinda were. We got Ashe, and we have Bob.
Yes.
Well, actually,
Yes, Bob.
John, I would like to say that robotic angel-looking lady. I would say
Echo?
that she was a hero. Echo. She was announced.
But Bob is in the game,
Okay.
and
touche.
Ashe is in the game. So they're the 2 heroes that I gave Thorn kind of credit for.
See, I would go Ashe and Echo. Bob is just part of Ashe. So either way, it still comes out as 2 heroes.
I definitely
This
have.
is like the second of 2 points I'm getting this whole thing now. Let's just. I'm gonna take this one graciously.
No.
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying
thank
that.
you for it, Your Royal Highness.
No, I'm saying that it is literally the 2 points, not the technicality 2 point.
Oh. Well then, thank you.
No,
I'm
I don't
giving
think
your
that's
asterisk.
true. I'm
Okay.
not giving it until they are confirmed coming in the game. We don't even know if Echo will be the next hero, so I am not counting her at all. That's
Okay.
the official ruling. But Bob is in the game, and Thorn, you got a point for it. And you know what? Ben, I'm going to let you win the argument for Thorn. I'm giving him a full damn win for it instead of just the kind of partial win.
Yeah.
I'm making
job,
it
Thorn.
official. I'm coloring
Thanks,
it
Ben.
green, and then I'm coloring over it to show that we talked about it. You also said that of the 2 heroes that would be revealed, one would be a tank and one would be a DPS. And I guess kinda. So I gave you another kinda point.
I will go with
cleaning up
I
like
agree
kind
on
of
that
points.
one. I agree on that.
So good job. You did well. You also said there would be a new map, which Rho has already told us wouldn't happen. So confirmed by Rho, no new map. Later confirmed by Blizzard as well, to be true. But this category, the Overwatch category, Rho, you are the winner of. You won Overwatch.
Woo!
You escorted the payload with 2 pretty good predictions. One was you said there would be 1 new character and that the animated short would be focused on them. I don't think that's entirely true, but Ashe was the new character, and she was kind of a secondary focus of the new trailer. So that got you some credit. And you also said that the new the new hero would be a damage dealer. And she is. So, bully for you. You picked it, like a nose, and you won. You also said, okay, let's rewind a moment. A little while back in this very episode, I said that occasionally people on this show made predictions that bothered me. And if those predictions bothered me, I counted them as no. And Rho, this is where you got dinged. Because here's my note for you. Whatever names have not been revealed will be revealed. I believe you were talking about the esports teams. And
For Overwatch League, yes.
yeah, and what I learned when I went to research this was how much I didn't care. So you got 0 points for it. I don't know if they did. Did they?
They were not.
Okay, well, good. You got what you deserved. And I didn't have to research it, so everybody ultimately wins. The king's ruling is fair and wonderful. Ben, let's talk about your Overwatch predictions.
I definitely leaned heavily on something that didn't happen.
What do you think of Birds of Prey, Ben?
I think that Birds of Prey is a pretty cool concept in the DC universe.
What on a bird of prey, like say a hawk or something? What's your favorite part of the bird?
I would have to say probably the beak.
Well, it's shocking that you would pick that, Ben, because you're so obviously in love with talons. Because you tripled down on Talon for your
Yes,
Overwatch predictions. You said a new cinematic, Overwatch versus Talon. You said a new character, a tank from Talon. And then you said you were done, but then later when prompted, you said, all right, fine, there's a new map, and it's a Talon-based map. So, none of that happened.
That is correct.
Ben, how do you feel about the absence of Talon from this BlizzCon?
I am perfectly okay with it because Ash is awesome, and I love that they're kind of putting more lore into that gang.
Can you tell me off the top of your head right now what the gang's name is?
The Dead Something Gang.
Can anybody else save him?
The Deadlock Gang.
Rho gets it! It's not for a point, but I'm just really pleased that you got
It's
it
fine.
very quickly. We'll say you got a point somewhere in there for it.
Sure.
At some point, spare me your argument for something else and just pretend you got a point from that. Hey, here we go. Speaking of Ben and his predictions, here's a category that I feel Ben won. Do we want to hear about a time Ben won the game?
I'm good
Yes.
with it.
Ben wants to hear it. We will continue then. Thank you, Ben. The show would have gone an awkward way if nobody had answered. Pre-show. What will leak? This I had to get a little creative with. So understand there's creative scoring to determine a winner, but I'm going to give it to Ben. Let's just go across the board here and see what everybody said. Thorn, you said a Candy Crush Saga mobile game, but Blizzard themed. Well, thank God it didn't happen.
You sure?
Don't get him started.
Ro, you said that Diablo would be added to Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. He's not. He's not in
Nope.
Super. But
So cool.
Piranha Plant, basically Diablo.
Right?
I mean, they both spit fire.
It's true.
I mean, Incineroar, basically Diablo.
Actually, not a bad point. Could have been Diablo
Incineroar.
instead. It's
Hey, there's always a possibility that he might still be announced later.
Incineroar's a
not saying-
crappy Pokemon.
Oh.
The
Okay.
owl thing is way better. That's my prediction. The owl is better than the shitty wrestle cat. Ben, your prediction was that there would be some sort of Diablo leak. And it would be coming from the Diablo on Switch being released. And that would result in a leak of some kind.
Yes.
And just prior to BlizzCon, one of the interesting things of note that I saw, and then you showed me the morning of as well, was a Treasure Goblin amiibo that got shown as a result of Diablo coming out on Switch. It wasn't technically a leak, but it was close enough to get you credit in this category where nobody else had gotten any credit. So you won the category.
Partial credit.
Ow!
I actually gave you full credit, but shh, don't tell
Full
anybody.
credit. I mean, credit. Credit. Yay.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're all sitting there and saying, well, Thorn has won categories, and Rho has won categories, and Ben has won categories. Why, this thing seems balanced. So let's throw it out of whack. Let's go with a category where we have a tie.
Oh.
But first, let's get Thorn out of the way because he didn't tie. StarCraft predictions.
Oh boy.
Uh,
What, you guys didn't hear about the new expansion?
Thorn, you said there'd be a new expansion and a new race. I'm sorry that didn't happen.
I also
cool.
am sorry.
Me too. I'm really sorry about that. I'm genuinely, that would have been cool. That would have been nice. I like your predictions. I wish they had come true. But I'm giving a tie to Ben and Rho. Now, I will say that Rho maybe... Here's where it gets tricky and here's where the tie comes in. Because Rho's prediction, he made one, and it was perfectly accurate, which is kind of 100% for the category. That's a pretty good percentage. Ben took two. He got one. That's a 50% average, which I would give to Rho, except I think Ben's was a harder prediction and a little bit more bold.
Ben had the spicier prediction.
He did. So Ben said nothing would be announced, and then later he said, wait, no, we're going to get the results of the DeepMind experiment, which they didn't, it was there. It was, and they talked about it on the opening stage, or the opening segment, which is big, because he said that during the prediction show, and I thought, they're not going to talk about the DeepMind stuff. Ben, what are you doing with your weird predictions? But it happened, and good job, Ben.
Thank you.
Good job, Ben.
Rho, you said
both
there
of you.
would be a co-op commander reveal. And between you and Ben, you got 100% of the StarCraft news that came out of BlizzCon.
Good job, us.
Yeah,
Yay.
Good job, guys.
you did it.
You
We
love
put our
Zeke
heads
Bum.
together and, well, supported mediocrity.
That's right. All right. Thorn, I feel like we've been doing a lot of you didn't get any points for this category talk. And I want to give you a category that you got some points on. Some will call them pity points. But
They will now.
But not me. I'm going to call them regular partial points. Let's
Okay.
talk about Hearthstone for a moment. Rho, you said Dave Kozak would be the presenter. He wasn't. You said the theme would be high season pirates. It wasn't. You said... Are you gonna try to tell me that it was high season
what?
pirates?
Hold on. I will take back what I was about to say because you gave me that 1 point earlier.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Because you know what you were about to sell me was some
Just
friggin'...
out of curiosity, can I hear what he had to say? Because I in no way see what we got as high season pirates.
Would you? I'll leave that up to the king.
You know what? The king is going to lean back for a moment while the commoners down below talk. Go ahead.
Yes, it is primarily troll themed. However, the rogue class of trolls in Rastakhan's Rumble is focused on pirate trolls.
Are they on the high seas?
Pirates tend to sail the high seas.
Are
also.
these
I'm
particular
pretty
trolls?
I'm pretty sure they're in the Gurubashi arena, Ben.
Oh, so you totally in the high seas then?
Because I'm pretty sure this is a Gurubashi arena themed expansion.
I agree with that. I just wanted to, I was talking about like as far as like partial credit and stuff goes, but I just wanted to mention that yeah, there are pirates in the expansion and
Sure.
they take up one of the class, but
There is
No,
air
totally
in the
was.
sky as well.
Yeah.
There's
Sure.
a lot of truths in this world when you really get down to it.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
there are.
Thank you. I was just curious as to what your argument was going to be, and seeing as how I did absolutely no research whatsoever into what the expansion was and what it contained, I am satisfied with your answer.
You know, guys, there are facts, and then there are alternative facts.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep, nailed it. Reveal.
don't-
You said
sure.
that the revealed legendary would be for the rogue,
Nope.
and
Didn't get it.
that didn't happen.
Nope.
I went and looked because I like rogues, as you know.
Mm.
So you got me to go look at that one because I was like, was it? Yeah, but it was not.
But if it was revealed as the rogue, it would have been a pirate, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, would have been Jack Sparrow.
Captain
Thorn,
Jack Sparrow.
let's talk about your Hearthstone predictions. I spit on my microphone.
I got one more thing wrong though, John.
Okay. Was it the fact that you almost just called me Ben?
Almost that. But also, Red Dead Redemption 2 did not.
We'll
have
get
any
to it.
impact on
We'll get to it. There's a whole bonus points section down at the
Oh,
bottom
you got
of
them all
this,
grouped up.
and it
Okay,
was
okay.
good. It was a good section. It's last because it's my favorite section.
All right.
Thorn, you said that there would be one new expansion. Your first swing was Pandaria themed. Strike one. Your second swing was Pet Battle themed. I liked the strategy. What you were telling us was, I know I'm not going to get all the points, but darn it, I'm going to cast a wide enough net to maybe get a point somewhere in here.
Yeah.
But that also didn't happen.
You know, it's my first swing at this stuff. I'm swinging wide.
Yeah.
Swing away.
You said there would be a new game mode, a type never announced before. I gave you partial credit because, I don't know, they got that arena thing. Like the Gurabashi wrestling thing, whatever it is.
I felt good about that one too, and I'm disappointed.
You know, it was fine. It was enough to get some credit. You know,
If Ben Brobe was still there,
he'd have done it for you.
I'd have gotten all 3 of these points.
It would have been called Pets of Pandaria, and it would have had an awesome new game mode.
And
Yep,
to be fair,
exactly.
if Ben Brode was there wouldn't have been technical difficulties. He would have just willed it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His voice would have carried across all halls,
And video.
as it does.
And
Ben,
then that would have changed the order. That would have given Rho another point. I mean,
Ben,
if Ben Brode was there.
I
We
miss
didn't
Ben
account for
Brode.
the Broad effect.
Benjamin,
Yes, John.
I want to talk about your Hearthstone predictions.
Can I say at this point that I am sorry?
They were so good. You said that there would be a cinematic beyond the announcement. There was not. You said that there would be a new expansion, and it would be Winter Spring Fun in the Snow.
I still think that would be a fun expansion. I'm just
I
gonna
really
say
like that one.
But Ben, you really proved that you are the most knowledgeable person here about Hearthstone.
Yep.
With the extreme and powerful, and some would say the most accurate prediction of more cards would be announced.
Damn it!
You know what? Sometimes when fate whispers in your ear, you just have to repeat what it says.
And you know what? You got credit for it. And you got good credit for it. Because I gave everybody a chance to use it. I reminded everybody right at that moment that they could steal that prediction right out from under you and guarantee the same points and just ruin it. It's the equivalent of betting $1 on The Price is Right. You nullify. You be all on a level playing field. Nobody did it. You're the only one bold enough to make the "there will be more cards in Hearthstone" prediction. And you...
I didn't think it was an honorable play.
You know, it probably wasn't, but then when everybody let him get away with it, I had to respect it.
Right.
Do you really think that $1 is ever an honorable play? No.
No.
It's a winning play, though.
Also, Ben
Yeah.
knows that the king this year is a rogue. And when have we ever
Exactly.
played by honor?
It's fine.
Let's talk about another really good Ben prediction. Ben said for World of Warcraft
Oh, no. I don't even know
that
what I said
in
anymore.
8.2, Thrall will not be the end boss.
How did that happen? How did we get there? I don't remember the path to this.
I remember that.
And you know what? He nailed it. Because all the other guesses were kind of bad. And that ended up being the closest
Oh
to
my
a correct
God.
answer that happened.
Oh my god.
Although I think I have to give Ro partial credit on one. We'll get to it. Ro, you can make an argument on yours. We'll get to yours. I'll let you make this argument. Ben also said we'd be going back to Tearsfall Glades, retaking the Undercity. Nope.
I still think that'd be great, though.
Gen Greymane would do some bad guy actions. I mean, maybe, but we don't know yet, so nope. Thorn, you said there'd be a pet battle mobile game because, I don't know, maybe you were looking at pets while you were making predictions and you really got excited about it.
You know, I thought I'd go thematic, that's all.
You also said Tearsfall Glades would be up front and center in a Warfront. No. We talked about Darkshore was the Warfront we heard about. And you said there would be a new expansion announced. Really just expecting Blizzard to just chop this one off at the knees and move on.
It wouldn't be the first time, honestly.
No, it wouldn't. That's true. So that didn't happen. Ro, you said we would get information on who wins in Warfronts, which you also cheated to get that prediction, and it ended up not happening, so
the story behind that is when we did the prediction contest, I had every intention of asking the very question that I predicted. However, when BlizzCon came up, the way the WoW Q&A works is you can fill out cards for the Q&A and you turn them into the mailbox. I filled out more than one question, partially because I didn't want to stack the deck entirely in my favor, and I wanted to give the WoW people an opportunity to choose one of the other questions, and they did.
I just love that you kind of cheated and it didn't work.
Hey, that's the story of my life, man.
Is good.
Sounds like a partial credit right there.
I will just say
Just for
that
the effort.
they didn't pick my question, so I'm glad you got at least one in there.
Yeah. Ro, you said there would be a new Warcraft real-time strategy mobile game in the ballpark, but didn't happen. And I don't know. There's a Warcraft real-time strategy game that they talked about is where the commonality lies there, but new and mobile were not part of that equation. And Ro, you said the final boss of 8.2 is not Ashara. Now, I didn't give you credit for this, because all signs still point to it being Ashara. But I'll tell you what. If it ends up not being Ashara, I will retroactively give you this point. Though, if you lose, and this point would put you over, you do not gain the championship. You just get the pride of knowing you got an extra point.
At this point, like, going by what we've gone through so far, and mind you, there's still a lot left to cover, but I feel I have a pretty good knowledge of who's going to win this right now, and I don't think this is going to be an issue. But okay.
Okay. You might be surprised.
I might be.
Before we announce the winner, we're going to have a discussion about how I came to the decision, because here's my new spoilers. You know, we revealed Thorn very early, and here's what I will say. When I was sitting at BlizzCon, and I observed all that I observed, I thought there was a clear winner. when I listened to the podcast and I had given everybody their little colors that I've assigned here for points and whatnot, I thought there was a clear winner. And the numbers backed me up. When I started looking at who I felt most accurately predicted events that occurred at BlizzCon, I got a different answer. And what I'm trying to decide over the course of this episode is which of those is ultimately going to be the one that pulls ahead for me, because honestly it puts you two very close, neck and neck. So we're gonna keep going through with this and having some fun while I try to figure out what the hell to do about this conundrum you've left me with.
Clearly, the easiest way, Your Highness, is to just drop these chumps and move bronze on up to the top.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's the only real solution. We'll see if we
Easy.
come up with any others, but right now...
You know what? I'm the kind who just makes things easy.
Yeah.
You know, I make it
Yeah.
easy on you.
Speaking of easy, you do realize that if you win, you need to host this next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Or-
Seems really
Be
fun.
careful
What's
what you
the problem
wish for.
it's somewhere between no work and a lot of work.
here? Clearly.
Let's talk about esports and what I am going to call Ben's best category.
Who would have thought?
Nice.
Nobody would have thought Ben would have gotten this many points in
I was
one
surprised,
category. He killed it. But let's talk about it. Ro, let's get you first because it didn't.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't go so
That
well
was
for you.
terrible.
You said that Dignitas would win HGC again.
Again.
Um, well, they still have never won HGC, Ro.
I meant lose again. I'm sorry.
You also said that Canada would win Overwatch.
Sorry, Fist.
Yep, sorry, this didn't happen. And you said the MDI winner will be Method PogChamp, and it was not.
Nope.
I want to give a special shout out right now. I don't have the name in front of me, but to whoever it was at Blizzard that sent me the email with all the esports results. You helped make this section a lot easier.
That's awesome.
Thorn, you made one esports prediction, and it was right. You scored a 100% in this category.
Good job.
With what
Put me out on a limb.
may have been a safe bet, but you made it. You said Korea will win the Overwatch World Cup, and they did.
Heyo.
So congratulations. You did it as well. Ben, you won this category.
Hey.
I gave you at least some points for every answer, even though one was technically incorrect. But you got so close, and it's a category that you should have done so badly in, that I had to give you something for it, because my goodness, you killed it. You said Symmetra will be chosen at some point, and video evidence was supplied to us of this exact thing happening in the games. I don't know if she actually played, because I didn't watch it all, because I had the video evidence to know enough to give you a point for this.
She just had to be selected, is what Ben said.
Yeah, he clearly specified just selected, and she was, very briefly. So that happened, and that got you a point. You said in HGC we'll see Murky. We did. It happened.
That surprised me.
It surprised me too. And then you said that the winning team for Warcraft Arena would have a rogue. The winning team did not have a rogue. However, the team they were fighting against did. So there was a rogue in the finals of the Arena Championship. Wasn't for the team that won, but you made it to the 50-50 on the rogue guess, and I gave you partial credit for that because that's pretty good. Even though rogue is a safe bet, because we all know they're the best. But
Around.
that was good. Good job, Ben. Who
Thank you
knew
very
that
much.
esports would be your category?
Not me.
Speaking of my category, let's talk about Heroes of the Storm.
Ooh.
Y'all did real bad.
Would you say proactively or retroactively you just win this round no matter what?
I probably should. You all did so bad, I should have won it. Let's go over all the wrong predictions and then the one kinda right prediction that we had. Thorn, you said there would be a new map Pandaria themed. Then you said there would be a new map Pet Battle themed to really appeal to the pet battle market of Heroes of the Storm.
Christ.
Now, you did technically have an accurate prediction in that Hanamura would be brought back, which had technically already happened several months prior to BlizzCon.
Oh my god.
When presented with this information, you threw that prediction out and went with exactly 3 new heroes were announced. You were off by 2. So, that was your predictions. Ben,
Sigh.
Yes.
you predicted Reinhardt as a new hero.
I was incorrect.
You predicted a new map that would be Warcraft themed and based on a raid. And
I was also incorrect.
you said Deathwing will be announced in some form. None of that is true.
Maybe?
Nope. And finally, Rho, you said there would be quality of life changes for currency. You said there would be a map reveal that's not based on any Blizzard IP. And you said we would get 2 characters. Reinhardt. And Orphea.
Ding, 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 ding.
Look at you, Ro. Predicting the hero, sorta.
Hey-o.
The lesson I think Ro needs to walk away with this year is that you don't get too specific. Because a lot of partial credit went to Ro because he put in a little too much. Although, I think if you had limited yourself to only one hero, would you have done Reinhardt instead of Orphea, or would you have done
No,
Orphea?
I would have done Orphea. Reinhardt was only to ride Ben's answer there. I would have picked Orphea for sure.
And the second thing you should walk away with is never ride Ben's answer.
Unless it's esports related. Then
Yeah, unless it's esports.
copy everything Ben says.
Exactly.
Noted for next year if I'm involved.
This brings us to the category that has a special point awarded to it. The winner of this category did not win because they got an accurate prediction, literally. They won because they got what I'm calling the Spirit Award. So, let's all find out who won the Spirit Award for Diablo.
Oh.
Thorn, you said there would be a new class. Nope. You said it'd be a new esport, speed dungeon running. Nope. And you said they would announce Diablo 4. Nope. Ro, you said Diablo 2 remastered. Nope. You said Diablo 3 gets one more expansion. Maybe like the Amazon, but not called that, but Amazon-like. Nope. And you said they would reveal the Diablo universe fighting game Soulstone. Nope. Ben, you said there would be a new class in Diablo. It would be on the Switch release of the game, and it would be the Druid. Nope. There's 2 things I want to talk about in this category. The first, let's give Ben his Spirit Award. No secret that I saved him for last because Ben is going to win the Spirit Award for this category because his second Diablo prediction was nothing else. Which I feel like really embodied how I felt during the Diablo presentation. Just, not that they didn't show anything, but that there was this really strong feeling of nothing else that really lingered for me. And Ben, you certainly captured the feel of the Diablo reveal for me with that amazing prediction.
Aww. Thanks, John.
I know.
And might I also add that had they stuck to nothing else, not only would audience response be better, but their stock price would be higher.
Yeah, and everyone would have had a good time.
Ben, I want to talk about your last prediction in the Diablo category.
Yes, John. I
You
don't even know what I said.
You told me that you'd be having a good time.
Yes.
My response to you, and I made a note of it, was, that's fine, but one frown from you and you'll lose points. If I see you frowning, that's a shitload of points gone right there.
Well drawn. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or spent any time at all with me over BlizzCon. I might have frowned.
You might have frowned a little bit during BlizzCon, but I'll tell you what, Ben, there's Diablo frowning, and there's genuine frowning. And even though I heard it and it did make me laugh a little bit, I can't take a shitload of points away from you for what you went through this weekend.
Neither would I.
It was rough. Nobody deserves to have a weekend like what you had at BlizzCon.
No.
I'm not going to take any points away for that.
And can I, as someone who was this guy's roommate and heard and witnessed some of these things happening in real time, to be honest, I rarely ever saw frowns. More like just looks of stoic determination of, it's fine, we'll get through this.
Yeah, and that is true. Ben's not on camera, so I don't have to see him maybe looking embarrassed when I say this. But honestly, no matter who wins this, the damn king of BlizzCon is the guy who managed to let everybody else feel good and happy and put on a smile and help them out when he was going through a lot of hell of his own. So,
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Ben, no matter what, you're a champion.
Yep.
And that's it for the
Thank you.
Diablo category.
Does that mean I get a nickel
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
medal or something?
We'll figure it out.
Iron?
This brings us to the final predictions. An interesting category. One that also involves a story to be told. Thorn, let's start with you. You said 3, the announcement of a new Blizzard charity involving games for kids. That didn't happen. There's a new charity pet.
But it damn well should have.
Sure.
Well,
I agree.
to be fair, the pet is going towards kids. It goes towards.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't go to
yeah.
kids. Yeah, I was right not giving you any points. You said that the 3 musical acts were fake and that there was going to be a secret real musical act.
Might have been a smidgen of wishful thinking in there. A little bit, maybe.
Well, the 3 musical acts were real.
I didn't see any. I didn't see any on the virtual ticket, so I'm not sure I believe you.
I did sit in one of them.
Oh, okay.
And you said World of Warcraft is going free to play. No, it's not.
Okay, out of curiosity here,
Okay.
World of Warcraft Classic free to play if you have a World of Warcraft subscription.
Which is not free.
Okay.
Ro,
Thanks, Ben.
let's talk
trying,
about
buddy.
you. I would argue that you had the most accurate crazy prediction, and I actually think it was genuinely like a good crazy final prediction. This was a really solid play for you. I'm saving Ben for last, not because I think he beat you in this category necessarily, but because, like I said, there's stories to be told with the next bit. So, number 3, you said the winner of the cosplay contest will be Overwatch. Was it?
It was.
Was it? Okay, I gotta give
Yep.
you a green. I don't know why I marked it
I
red.
surprised myself because when I looked back at the footage and when they brought up the 5 finalists, they were all Warcraft or Heroes of the Storm variants except for one Overwatch, and that Overwatch one, it was the Symmetra with the 3 faces.
Oh, that's
that
right. I
ended up
did see
winning.
that.
Yep, the concept skin.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. That one, huh? All right.
Yep.
That was good.
You know
It was
what's
good.
really weird is seeing that person wearing the mask and like normal clothes the next day. It was kind
Yeah.
of freaky.
So I actually meant to go check that one. I don't know why it was marked red. It was not like, well, we'll get to it. You said that Chris Metzen will be at the opening or show up in a panel. And he did.
He did. And I honestly surprised myself with that prediction.
Yes, and I happen to know for a fact that you, despite also being at that panel, had no inside information of this. I can confirm it.
Not until 10 to 15 minutes before it happened.
Yep.
Yep, I heard the story and the plotting of, hey, wouldn't it be funny the day before, and then it became a reality.
Yeah.
So, your number one was Diablo 4 is announced, your big troll to the internet, and it serves you right, you got no points for it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But you did really good in that category, actually better than I even thought. So, fantastic job.
Cool.
Ben, let's talk about your predictions. You said that Matt Mercer will steal the show at the Talon show, and that he will be dreamy. I actually would argue that Darren DePaul stole the show more than anybody, but Matt Mercer was definitely dreamy.
Yes.
I
mean, honestly, I could say that about him at any point.
Right. It's just a natural state.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. So, good job on that.
Thank you.
You said that I will have a fantastic time meeting Chris Metzen. I gave you partial credit for this, because I did meet Chris Metzen, which is fantastic in and of itself, except for one tiny problem, which is I freaked out a little too much.
Oh no!
And didn't say anything, and just kind of went... So I kind of actually didn't meet him so much as stood in close proximity, whimpered out a hey, and then watched an interaction play out in front of me until I walked away.
That's fair. That sounds about right.
I got to shake the man's hand. That kind of made my BlizzCon right there.
Did you make the same noise?
No, I did not. I remember my words being something to the effect of, because I knew he was in a hurry, walked up to him shortly after he was done with his question. I said something to the effect of, "Sir, I don't want a picture, and I extended my hand. I just want to say thank you for everything you've done." And shook hands, and he went on.
Good stuff, man.
So, Ben, your last one... This is where you got the John Jagger penalty for yourself. Your number one final prediction was the Lindsey Sterling concert would fill the capacity first. And when I went to see if this was true, I quickly realized that I had no desire to see if this was true, so I just didn't give you any points for it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I would like to confirm this, but I can only give you 2 out of the 3 concerts, so I can't back it up fully. All I can say is that Lindsey Sterling was at capacity and had at least 3 people deep of standing room around the entire arena.
And Train was definitely not at capacity based on the footage.
So yeah. So that concludes the final predictions. Now, one of the things I really enjoyed doing this year was awarding bonus points. We had some bonus point predictions, and I made maybe some controversial calls in the bonus points. Let's go through what we had. For Thorn, I said, "Will I submit my early ballot before going to BlizzCon?" And you told me I'd forget. Well, I'm happy to report I sent my early ballot before going to BlizzCon. Great news for the country. Bad news for Thorn. You got no points.
That's good. That's the best no points I ever got. Good job.
Let's get into controversial territory. Ben said, I asked Ben, Murlocs, will I know it when I see it? He said yes. And despite many people on Twitter saying, Murlocs, you'll know it when you see it, right? The answer is no. And anybody who thought that long train of Murlocs was me knowing it when I see it, you don't know what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a big train of cosplayers walking around dressed as Murlocs. That wasn't it. Darn it, it's Murlocs. You'll know it when you see it. And I haven't seen it yet, and when I see it, you'll be the first to know. But that wasn't it.
Wow.
That's fair. considering that this was a scheduled thing anyway.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you on that.
Okay.
Ro, I asked you,
Yeah.
will Red Dead impact BlizzCon? You said yes. I gave you a point because there was a McCree short in there, which was not influenced by Red Dead at all. But dang it, I was in a Red Dead mood and they put a cowboy on the screen, and I'm giving you credit for it.
Okay.
I asked Thorn, which franchise will I forget? Actually, I asked all of you this. Which franchise would I forget as I went through this? Thorn said Diablo. I didn't. Ben said Overwatch. I didn't. Ro said Overwatch, and I didn't. None of you got points on this question that you couldn't have gotten points to. Unless
In
you said you'll
hindsight-
remember them all.
In hindsight, I really should have saved the joke I used later for that question and said the Lost Vikings.
Yeah, that would have actually been a tricky way to get yourself some credit.
Yeah.
After Ben's Overwatch prediction, I asked Thorn, was Ben's Overwatch prediction a good idea? Thorn, you said no, and I agreed with you, so you got a point for that.
Much needed point.
Some of these I don't remember the context for. I just took a note of them. So one of Ben's was, scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? Ben said a 1, and I gave him no points for it. So I don't know what that means, but you were apparently wrong, Ben.
Oh, okay.
I asked Ro if a Gilnean cocktail was only good for hitting people with. He said yes. I gave him partial points because I'm still not 100% sure. I haven't tried a Gilnean cocktail yet.
I mean, if you play Greymane in Heroes,
I asked Ben how full of shit is Ro. Ben said he's not, which I didn't like, but then he explained it in a way that I did like, so I gave him a point. And I asked Ro, why is Ro giving Thorn a no? I don't know what that means, but his answer was because, and I guess I liked that because I gave him a point for it.
great.
Okay, let's get to a question we can understand.
Yeah.
I came up with the brilliant question, will we see an image of a new Goblin or Worgen model? It was a real inspired question that I had, and
That was a great idea for a question, John. I'm glad you came up with it.
me
One of the
too.
best.
It was really the highlight. Thorn, you said yes, we did. Ben said yes, we did. Ro said no, clearly caught off guard by this question out of nowhere and couldn't give it
Yeah.
enough thought. And so he didn't get a point for that question.
I would have never come up with a question like that. It's stupid.
I asked Thorn, when Ro says he'll go further, how does that make you feel? Thorn said it made him feel anxiety, and I agreed, so I gave him a point. I also asked Thorn, are Overwatch characters pretending? You said no, and that's not true. They are. I asked Ben if Overwatch characters are pretending. He said maybe, so I gave him a point. I asked Ro if Overwatch characters like cosplay. I made him give me a number out of 10, and he gave me a 5, and I didn't like that, so I gave him no point. The answer is 10. They very much like cosplay. All of them. Even Emo Reaper dresses up as shit. They all love cosplay.
It's all edgelord stuff, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one's a mariachi. It's not that edgy. It's just pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, that's just his job.
Oh. Well, okay.
The off hours of reaping.
Yeah.
I asked about WoW. Oh, we wanted WoW Classic predictions. Somebody wanted me to give them an opportunity to make WoW Classic predictions. I don't think it was Thorn because his WoW Classic prediction was nothing, and
it was Pandaria.
he didn't get a point for that. Ro said there would be no WoW Classic launch date. Well, I was only kind of able to give Thorn a point for his prediction of a launch date, so I kind of gave Rho a point for his prediction of no launch date, because it's vague.
Summer, yeah.
Ben,
Yes,
final
go
bonus
on.
point prediction. I asked for a WoW Classic prediction, and you said people will be slightly disappointed. And you're right, and I gave you a point. Now, I know some people know that I don't think that highly of good old WoW Classic. It's not for me. I'm glad it exists for other people. It's not for me. And you might be thinking, well, John, you only gave Ben a point because you agree and you think it would be slightly disappointing. But here's why Ben got the point. It wasn't because I agree with him. It's because people made such a big stink about sharding. That was a big thing that people got upset about, was shards and stuff. And so I considered that slightly disappointed, and Ben got a point.
All right.
That is it.
Can I point out in the chat room that multiple people did confirm that Lindsey Sterling's arena filled up the most and the fastest,
Sure.
and that Hodor and Train did not fill up?
Can I point out that if I'm king, you should be very careful what you ask me to do, because you're still not getting any points for that.
No, that's fine. I'm just, for listeners who were curious as to what the actual result was,
Okay.
I just wanted to let them know that that was confirmed by the chatter.
So, one more thing to consider. I'll go ahead and pull it up now. I'm not going to say that this influences my decision one way or another, but I think it's worth taking a look and just seeing. I put up a poll to see what people thought as far as who won. We are at the final results. The poll is now locked. And with 45% of the vote, people said Rho should be the Azeroth Roundtable champion. That's a high percentage for what I feel is actually a pretty close race. 31% said Thorn, which proves that this poll should not be counted for anybody's favor, because 31% of the people clearly didn't listen to the episode. There's a reason I told Thorn right up at the gate that he didn't win. I didn't want to string him along. We all knew. He guessed Pandaria and pet battles for every category, and it wasn't discussed. 31% of you is really wrong. I like Thorn a lot. He dressed as a butterfly. I loved having him here. He just posted a picture of my finger over my face on Twitter. You should check it out. My finger looks like my head. Thorn's a great guy. But he didn't deserve 31% of that vote. We all know it. 24% of the vote went to Ben. And so that's where we're at with the poll. So, Rho, you are clearly the people's choice with a majority vote, for what it's worth. I mean, not to throw shade at the people, but geez.
I feel like they voted that high because they recall I involved them last year a lot, and they were probably...
you think it's bribery? Like,
something like that.
Rho's the champion we need. He makes promises that Ben and John don't want to keep. That could be. That said, if Rho wins this thing, he's gonna have a submission process for his ideas this next time.
I've already thought of how next year is gonna go, and it won't be anything like what I did the last time.
I thought you were gonna say it won't be anything like this.
No, it'll actually be like a combination of this and what was done last year. So a middle ground.
So we're down to Ben, and we're down to Rho. And now I have a really tough choice to make. And I know everybody says that when they're supposed to be a judge, and I hate that I'm sounding like a reality show host here, because I'm going to tell you, originally my plan tonight, after I listened to the episode and calculated the point totals and all of that, was I was going to come in, I was going to sit down, Ben was going to win, and that was going to be the end of it. I was 100% certain that's the way it was going to go. I was going to announce the winners up front, and then we were going to talk about BlizzCon for the rest of the show. That was the plan. However, my initial strategy for tallying who won involved a very simple point system. Basically, you got 2 points for a right answer, you got 1 point for a kind of right answer, and no points for an incorrect answer. And Ben killed it in this system. But I looked at what those guesses represented, and we had things like Rho saying Chris Metzen would be at a panel, and we had Ben saying there would be cards at Hearthstone, and those were essentially getting the same point totals, and I realized that maybe this wasn't the best system. Because those are 2 very different predictions. And when I looked at that, it made me realize that, to some degree, I felt like Rho's predictions were more on-the-nose accurate. And that's where the dilemma comes in. Because... Oh, Rho's got his finger up. You want to interrupt the deliberations? Are you going to make one final case? Actually, yes. Let's do that. Hold on.
Okay.
I've decided to drag this out in a reality TV show method. I want to hear from you. Make a case on why you should be the champion of Azeroth Roundtable. And if anybody says I should pick the other person, I will disqualify you. I hate that. Don't play the don't pick me, pick the other person. Tell me why you should win. Rho,
But
go.
if you disqualify them, that's automatically making the other person win.
It is true.
So here's the thing, John.
I'll give it to Thorn.
Well, here's the thing, John. You're telling me to say why I should, and you said don't say why Ben should. I'm not going to do either. This is my honest opinion.
Okay.
Thanks, Rho.
I think going forward
Thorn.
into next year, I feel that the Azeroth prediction challenge should be shared by Ben and myself. And that each of us can do our questions in our own style, in our own way. And we have 3 contestants competing for the title of champion. I am totally fine. If you go by points, Ben is the king. He is the champion. That's fine. He can be king. I can be champion. I don't care. I feel we're both winners in this thing. Thorn, I'm sorry, man. But I feel that Ben and I are equally worthy. So it's not a matter of choose him over me. No, I feel like I did a great job too. But I feel we both did equally well.
All right. Ben, why should you win?
There's no way that I would do a double team on the challenge next year because 1, I don't want to do a 4-hour show. And 2, because I totally rogued my way into all those points and snuck in and did the least possible challenging prediction as possible. Basically, I went and said, I want to see this museum and it's by donation to get in. Fantastic. And I walked right past the person taking money. I walked up to someone and said, oh, hey, free samples? Cool. And I grabbed a handful and walked away. I did the very least amount of work to get the very most points out of all of us. And for that, the fact that I had esports as my #1 category with some really crazy off-the-wall predictions means that I win.
Ben knows his king really well. That was a really good statement. Rose was really nice. I feel like there's a lot of nice people out there going, aw, bunch of paladins.
Nice guys finished last. It's
and
fine.
Priests and other.
And John,
You heard it here first, folks.
John, you
I
know
win.
me, and you know that that's normally not the way that I play. I go
know.
by the rules, and I play as fair as possible.
Ben went for the throat. I liked it. Thorn, how you doing over there first?
Great, man.
Have you enjoyed watching this drama play out?
I have indeed. It's quite delicious.
Thorn, I have one more question I need to ask you. Who do you think should win?
Me.
Besides you. You got third place. You got the bronze medal.
Come on. Changing the name on me, or changing the question on me. Come on.
I'm the king. Is my prerogative.
I mean, Blizzard has put itself in a better position to be bought out by Disney now that its stock has dropped.
It's true.
So you're gonna go with you. You're not gonna pick between these two.
Nope.
Neutral. You're Switzerland over there, like an egotistical
No, I'm
Switzerland.
very clear. I'm very clear on my answer. That's not neutral at all.
Okay.
No, I admire that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to give it to him, but I'm not going to.
Good.
So here's the deal. I went through a couple different ways to try to tally up the points. One of the ways I went was just saying number of right guesses. Didn't matter about point values or numbers or anything like that. And I got a two-way tie between Ben and Rho. Actually, I didn't, but given Rho's extra point that he got, it was a tie. I did a mode where I added 2 points for a right answer, 1 point for a wrong answer. Ben won that one. I went through and said who won the most categories. Ben won that one. I still think Rho nailed a lot of really strong predictions. And I think he did it in a way that really makes a strong case that he could win this thing and could be the champion. But every time I turned to math, Ben came out ahead. And even though I hate math, I'm not going to argue with it. Ben, you are the Azeroth champion this year.
Aww.
Hey!
Good job, man.
Thanks.
Congratulations, you crazy so-and-so.
Wow.
I saw
I'm
that was
honestly
coming.
Surprised.
I saw that was coming right after the whole J. Allen Brack thing. As soon as I knew where John stood on J. Allen Brack, I'm like, okay, this is Ben's. It's fine.
Wow.
So the crown has passed. I am no longer your king. It's time for me to roll up my purple carpet, take my wheelie throne, and get out of here. And Ben, your reign has begun. And as your first decree, go ahead and get us out of here for the evening.
Well, John, I would like to say thank you. Thorn, Rho, you were both excellent competition. One a little bit more than the other. But it has been an absolute,
Good job, Thorn.
an absolute blast going up against you. I do appreciate it. And Annalise, fine of you to call me a false king. Whatever. I won. You didn't.
Oh, man.
Wow!
Ben, already the
Savagery.
king going ham. He is the king we
Savagery.
needed. He's just going
Ben
for it.
Savage.
Oh, no. There's history there. Anyways, for joining us on this prediction recap episode, and of course the prediction episodes themselves. These are some of the best times we have during the year doing Azeroth Roundtable, and I want to thank each and every one of you. John, thank you for putting it all together as last minute or as planned as it may have been both times. Thorn, thank you very much for joining us on this, and I hope you had a good time because I know I had a great time with you here.
Thanks for having me. I did. I had a blast.
I will say one
I have one final question,
Oh,
guys,
okay,
that I need to know for my own edification.
I think this might
Did
have
I
to do with what I was going to say.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are we going to... I'm curious if we were going to say the same thing, because I was going to say, Thorn, you did better than Thist.
Hey! Woo!
And Rho, of course, thank you very much for joining us again this year. It's always one of the best times to have you on and to go over the minutia of predicting.
Ben, I am looking forward to leveling up an Iron Man character for a few hours. Oh, wait. We didn't mention anything about wagers, did we?
We forgot about that, didn't we? Oh, that's right. There were punishments involved.
Yep.
Thorn, what was your punishment? Was it another clean episode of Lagging Balls?
That I would win? That if I came in last, that I would actually come in first?
That doesn't sound familiar.
I don't know.
But, as the king, I'm saying no.
Solid answer.
So
Yes, it was another clean episode.
so
This time it's
good.
my fault.
I'm so excited. It was my favorite episode, and now
It was. See, that wager was meant to be like a joking, like, thumb nose back at Fist for having put me through that from last year, and here I am. Now I've put myself back through it.
Good job. Good job.
I'm so excited for it. So another clean episode of Lagging Balls. You'll let us know when that one is taking place.
I will.
Yep.
Ro,
And if I remember correctly, it was only the losingest loser who actually had to follow through. So, Ro, you don't need to do an Iron Man character.
oh, is that true? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's how it was last year.
Oh man.
But anyway, so to finish it off, again, Ro, thank you. It's always a pleasure having you on these Champion of Azeroth episodes. I greatly appreciate it, and I know John does too.
Yep.
And with that, let's go ahead and go through winningness to losingness here. John, where can people find you?
I was up first because apparently I was winningest. If you want to follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. Catch me talking about Heroes of the Storm on Core.
Core!
Core!
That was a quiet one. Now I've shown that I wait for it, and now I feel weird. Or you can catch me playing Dungeons & Dragons on There Will Be Dungeons, also part of the Frog Pants Network. More information about that at therewillbedungeons.com.
Ro, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RHOWOW, RHOWOW. You can also listen to me on such podcasts as Realm Maintenance, Rolling Restart, Hearth Casual, or if you're into even more Dungeons and Dragons stuff, you can listen to both Thorn and I on a podcast called +5 to Hit. Should have another episode or two of that for you very soon.
And of course, last but definitely not least, in fact, I would say that you get the participation award. Thorn, where can people find you?
Hello, everybody. Your favorite court jester here. Third place coming in hot. You can find third place and all your best bronzes at Thornbrow on Twitter on the Lagging Balls show that is also full of mediocrity every week. The LB stream we do Friday nights, usually right before this show. But Fist is sick this week, so send her good vibes. Thank you. And also on +5 to Hit with Ro. And occasionally on the Convert to Raid podcast.
Very cool. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. I do another show with Eludra called Battle Pets, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. It sounds like from your interest, we might need to have you guest star sometime, Thorn, because you're really into battle pets. And it's something I didn't know.
Are you announcing any battle pet maps or expansions anytime soon, by chance?
Definitely.
Pandaria related?
You could do a review of Pandaria Battle Pets, Flashback Day.
Anyways, this show, though, Azeroth Roundtable, just to let you guys know, starting next week, we will be an hour earlier because, hey, guess what? Arizona doesn't change for daylight savings time. So we'll be starting at 7 p.m. Pacific. So going the same exact time as the Lagging Balls stream, which Thorn just said no.
We usually change to adjust for you guys. I can't remember if we go an hour earlier or an hour later, but we'll adjust.
Oh, thank you.
Aw, look at that.
That's
I was about to say we were like so mean to Thorn this episode. We gave him third place. Then we're like, yeah, we're going to record at the same time as you.
Last year, you guys were recording after daylight savings change, so.
Thanks, bro. Better memory than I. Appreciate it.
I was going to say, either way, it's
That's
like...
right, because we used to raid them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this now, because we would come in and yell random stuff in the chat. This is great.
Yep.
This is the best time of the year. This is my favorite part.
And now the best thing is that Twitch actually lets us push people there instead.
I know, we used to just do it. We used to just go over there and just go, let's just go in there and type some crap in their chat room.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
starting next week, we're going to be starting at 7 p.m. Pacific as opposed to 8 because, again, you know what? Blame the rest of the country, not us. With that, you can follow us on Twitch. We are twitch.tv/AzerothRT with a nice shiny subscribe button now. If you feel like throwing your Twitch Prime to us, there's a place for it if you want. Up to you. As for the rest of the episodes and everything else that we do on Azeroth Roundtable, you can find that on AzerothRoundtable.com, on iTunes, TuneIn, a whole bunch of places where you find your normal podcasts. And of course, follow us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. And last but not least, if you want to email us and complain that I'm the winner, which I wouldn't be surprised if some of you do, send those emails to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com.
I don't think they'll complain. I'll say this. Ben has been the most controversial king we ever had, and he made the worst decision based on me that I've ever heard in my life. I'm still mad about it. So if me is giving him king, he must have done okay, because it was the last scenario I wanted to have happen again.
We'll see what happens next year. I'm going to make it as fair as possible. I'm thinking a 0, 1, and 2 point system might actually work for completely correct, partially correct, and not correct at all.
Let me tell you, as somebody who did that system, there are potential issues with it, but I would like to see what you do and see if you succeed better than I did. Because I went in with a lot of ideas on how this would work, and then they all broke.
All right.
But hey, it's my turn to tell you all that this show is made possible by people who go to patreon.com/AzerothRT and say, hey, that was a long show. Let's give them money because they look tired. And we are. So patreon.com/AzerothRT is where you go to do that. We have a lot of people who have done it, and we thank you. But we also give a special thank you to the Murloc Club. That's Aaron Somdi, Frasley S, Haster, Jim G, Kryn, Sash H. Thank you so much for being part of the Murloc Club. Ben does a special sound just for you. That's it. That's the Murloc. That's still not the Murloc. You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah, that's quite all right. But also, I would like to give a big thank you to our newest patron, Brandon O.
Oh.
Who joined October 27th.
Awesome. Rho has a finger of questioning up.
No, I just realized something.
Oh, that's the middle one, John.
Oh.
For people listening, you can't see the video stream, but on the video stream, Ben wasn't on video today. So instead, it's a picture of his avatar, which happens to be Murloc's. Ben won Murloc's You'll Know It When You See It.
As the king, I will actually ask the previous king who made that judgment. John?
That is not Murloc's You'll Know It When You See It. I'm
Okay.
telling you, when it happens, you will all know it. There will be no doubt about it. I know a lot of people tweeted me pictures of the Murloc March and they said, Murloc's, you'll know it when you see it. I'm telling you, everyone will contact me and say it. Not some, everyone. That's how much you'll know it. Mm-hmm. You'll know it when you see it. You haven't seen it yet. You're all excited. I'm excited. It's going to be great. But it hasn't happened yet. So just hang on.
It's going to be better than Diablo 4, guys.
It could be, because you'll know it when you see it. Murloc. Still
It'd be great if like there's a new character in Diablo Immortal and it's a Murloc. Anyways,
that might be it.
Again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us for the special close bookend of the BlizzCon prediction episode. It has been great. Chat room, you have been lively and awesome as wonderful. And with that, everybody, especially with Diablo Immortal, be good to each other. Don't be dicks. And remember, Blizzard is full of people who work there, who create the stuff that you love. So be good to each other.
Well said.
And that's a podcast.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Good job,
Hail
everybody.
Hail to the king!
Well done, guys.
Hail to the new king. Thorn, I'm sorry.
Why? You didn't bring me here for predictions. Come on.
Your predictions were so good, though.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for this to find out.
Oh yeah.
Ugh,
Cannot
I'm not gonna
wait.
tell her. I'm not gonna tell her.
Well,
Oh wait, no, that's the thing. Okay, everyone in the chat room. Well, this won't work for people listening to the podcast. No one should tell Fist until they record their next show, and then Thorn just busts out like, "Oh, by the way, this has to be a clean show."
Oh man, that would be
Aw,
horrible.
Ann.
In real time, that's just wrong.
that's really rough. That's really